I don't believe that we should ignore people's intentions to an extent. I think it matters. Like I said, there are people in this world that really, truly mean you harm. And I think it matters. We have to separate those people out. We have to separate people who really, truly are here trying to hurt you and destroy you. And there are people who are in pain and they react and respond and develop all these bad coping skills and styles from their own trauma and their own pain. And we have to separate those people out that, you know what I mean, maybe not in pain, but they just don't know. They doing stuff out of ignorance. But for now, we can't do that now. Mm-hmm. Now, we are in a place, in a space that we have decided, to some extent, we've decided as a society, we're tired of being people being hurt and we finna fix this.
Right.
So we're going to an extreme. And I think that with anything, you have to bounce back and forth from extreme to extreme until you find a happy medium. Just like with anything in life, I think that happens. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we bounce to this extreme, then we'll slide back a little bit. And we're going to teeter-totter and bounce back and forth till we find a happy medium. But for now, in the beginning of a movement, it's a lot of people that is going to get it. Mm-hmm. And then 15 years from now, they're going to see somebody else get a pass, and they're going to say, I didn't get that pass. They took my whole career away from me. They took my whole life away from me. You know what I mean? But I think that's just the nature. I think that's just the nature of the beast. Yeah. So I don't know, but I don't think personally, I don't think that cancel culture fixes anything. I mean, again, we're psychologists, so I think that we see the world in a very different way. We're always trying to understand process, especially in developmental psychology. Like, developmental psychology is about the process. You know what I mean? How did you get from point A to point B? What happened in the middle? That's what developmental psychologists are trying to figure out. And it could be something physical, it could be social, it could be anything. So that's why we try to know a little bit of everything, you know what I'm saying? But we're always trying to understand the process of people. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't think there's necessarily. I just looked at you. I look at everything as you learn that from somewhere, and if you can learn it, you can unlearn it. And then there are those exceptions of people who are, you know what I'm saying, just maybe they just are just monsters, and then there's truly, truly angelic people in the world. Yeah. But I think that it helps nothing by just throwing somebody away. They just unemployed and racist now. Mm. They just unemployed and sexist now. And what scares me is this. The 10 other people that's racist just like that guy or sexist just like that guy, they see what happened to him and they say, oh, I bet I won't say nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that is scary because I think the reason that these things live on, like I don't so much like to use the word, I think people are racist, but I think the thing that people really need to realize is that we all have bias. Yeah. But you, it's too scary to realize, not me. Like that's going to mean something for this, that, or the other. So they don't feel comfortable enough having these conversations where they might slip up, because if they do slip up, then they're going to lose their job. But if they don't do that, they just keep it in their mind. Yeah. It's poisoning their mind. It's contaminating everything they do. I've seen, some different clips of kids that are being affected by this, and they're not being affected by it because parents are saying, this is the way a child is, or this, that, and the other, but parents aren't talking about it. Yeah. They're just assuming that the child's going to learn, but because no one's talking about it, those biases exist.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. And how we fix that. Again, my motto is people always talk about a safe space. Yeah. And like I said, a safe space is somewhere that people got to be allowed to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Like they have to be allowed to talk about these issues and make mistakes and not get crucified from them and be in them. And we create a context. If we're truly talking about making the world a better place, right, we have to create these spaces that black people and white people and gay people and straight people or whoever, you can just talk about how you feel, and we can all probe and we can ask questions and we can try to give you a different perspective.
Yeah, liberal, conservative, same thing, yeah.
Or whatever. But I think, again, one of the reasons, like I said, one of the reasons I think relationships don't work is when people get into an argument, they trying to win. Mm-hmm. Y'all on the same team. Why are you trying to win? Like everybody's trying to win. And winning, I think that there is a very big difference between winning and healing and making the world a better place. So when it feels good to feel like you standing up against the racists or you standing up against the sexists, and we said what we had to say, and we sent Joy and Joy, and we ain't gonna have that, so she ain't working here no more. Yeah, right. And it feels good. And you can tell all your friends that you a soldier for the cause. Yeah, you won, but did you fix anything? Did you heal anybody? Did you make the world a better place? You know what I mean? Now Joy is just gone and racist. Mm-hmm. That's all. So I think that there has to be a shift in consciousness. You know, and there is a place for people who, like, there are people who are truly evil people. Yeah. Those are the people that you have to figure out who they are, and then some kind of way they got to be. I don't know. You know, those are the people that you go to that place and space with. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Well, I think the other thing is, whatever thing that someone has done, the question is, as time passes, have they learned from it? Yeah. Like, I mean, the conversation's only coming up because he happened to zinger with that yeah. In order to protect his dad. But if this person has changed and they're not the same person, then where we at with that?
Yeah, exactly. To me, and we always make people address stuff. And to me, it would be enough if she addressed it and she was just like, I was 20 years old. I was young. I was ridiculous. I shouldn't have done it. You know, I mean, I now realize at whatever she is, 50 or 60 or whatever, I now realize, no disrespect, Joy, if you're out there listening, you look young and beautiful. But if people can show contrition and show that, hey, like, it ain't got to be, I'm sorry, man, I was young. Mm. People grow, they evolve, they change, they gain perspective, and we have to allow for that. But now, with the climate, even if she hadn't, I would lie. I mean, because you know you're going to get barbecued at the stake for being honest. Like, she couldn't say, there's no way she could be honest and be like, it's funny, and I thought it was funny. You know? And people, we sit down and have a conversation, okay, this is how this makes us feel. And see if in fact she learns and evolves from hearing people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I think if people weren't afraid, again, like I said before, there's the right thing to say and the honest thing to say. And the world will never become a better place because we're all saying the right thing and nobody's saying the honest thing. But to say the honest thing, might get you fired. Saying the honest thing, you might lose your kids. Saying the honest thing, there are real life consequences to being honest. And it's weird because people say be honest with me, but you lying. You don't want me to be honest right. with you. You want to hear what you want to hear, and you want to hear the right thing. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. Especially at least for me, especially when it comes to race. We all know the right thing to say. Race and now sexual orientation. We all know the right thing to say. I think gay people should get married. I accept trans couples. I mean, I embrace the trans community. Like, we all know the right things to say, but I always wonder, when these people get home, what do they really say?
Yeah, and that's what really matters, because even if they ain't saying it, we know it's coming out in their actions.
That's what I'm saying. What do they really say? What do people really say? And how do we get to a space and a place people can say these things and we can listen to each other, and hopefully somebody will grow and evolve from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the key. How we get there, I don't know. You know what I mean? But and that's a perfect world, and I think that there will always. I don't know. I don't know if this notion and idea of these biases that we have to our own group, I don't know if that's something that's evolutionary, that's etched in our DNA, that if everybody love everybody and everybody's brown at some point or another, is it going to be the tall people against the short people? Is it going to be the light skinned? Like, will people always in some way, shape, form, or fashion separate themselves or find some reason to feel? One of the ways that we feel better about ourselves is by laughing at somebody else or putting somebody else down. I mean, that's how Springer got famous. Mm. Shout out Jerry Springer. That's how, I mean, why did people love Jerry Springer so much? It's because you could look at those people and say, at least my life ain't that bad.
Yeah, and when it comes to self-esteem, that's the way a lot of people lift their self-esteem, by comparison. And the comparison usually is to someone who's worse than them.
Exactly. Exactly. This can go so many different places. This is just an organic conversation and just our perspective. Is cancel culture a good thing? I think we've asked some good questions. Most importantly, I think we're trying to figure out, is it productive? What does it fix? What do we help? What do we heal? Who do we heal? What do we fix by throwing people away? And when I say throw away, I mean it's to a point that we are almost ostracizing people from the community. But again, I want to be very clear. A lot of the cases that are more famous are those extreme cases that people have deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And again, we are talking about maybe cases that aren't so as extreme. Maybe like Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who made a mistake. No one personally was violated in any way or was hurt physically in any way or anything like that, physically, mentally, or emotionally in any way. I look at that more as, I don't always look at everything as racism. Sometimes people do things that they may be culturally insensitive.
There you go.
And it's simply because they just don't know, because you're not within a culture, so you don't know what some of the scars and sore spots of other cultures are if you don't if your life isn't, and I say this all the time, man, if your life isn't intimately intertwined with another culture, you don't know how they feel. You don't know what means something to them.
How could you?
Yeah, and that's it. And so that's the thing. So I think that is why a lot of us, I think a lot of people make mistakes because of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you don't intimately know anyone gay or anyone black or anyone white for that matter, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying just somebody you pass by at work and say hi and y'all share.
Yeah. Hey, George.
A coffee or donut in the lunchroom. But like, if you truly don't know black families, or if you truly don't know gay couples, you don't truly understand what is hurtful and what is painful and what means something to them. And I think that puts us in a space and a place it's easy to misassess why they do what they do if you don't understand the culture. And it puts us in a space and a place that I think that there's so many things that we say within our language that may be hurtful that we might not even know about because, again, we don't know about the culture. So, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's tough because I think one of the problems to healing our culture, one of the things that stops it from happening is that we can't have honest conversations. We were talking about safe spaces earlier, and when I think about safe spaces, I think about them in context of disenfranchised groups, which is good.
Yeah.
But there should also be safe spaces for all people to come together and have these conversations that are going to be real. They're going to be raw. There's going to be missteps. You know, like when I think about the ability to make mistakes, whether it's in conversation or other things, and there's different levels of mistakes, of course.
Yeah.
But if you think about your son, your daughter. Yeah. For those of you who don't have kids, just think about yourself when you were younger and what your parents said about you learning how to walk. A child cannot learn how to walk unless they're allowed to make mistakes. No one's over them saying like, oh, you got to do this right, or, and if they did, the child would be too scared to take a step. They would be standing there, they would be frozen. In a lot of ways, that's how I think we are on some of these issues in society. We're frozen.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to take any